Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to be talking about things we wish we knew before getting married at 19 years old. So, I know a lot of people, at least I've gotten like responses on TikTok of like, you're so young, how are you married? And like, I see comments all the time on other people's posts of like, you're not gonna last. Like, people just ask a lot of questions about people who get married young. So we're gonna say things that were surprises to us or that we wish we knew before getting married so young. So the first one is everyone's timeline is different. And this just means that like you don't need to rush into your next stages of life. I know when we first got married, for some people that is getting married. I know there's people who want to be married young and it's just not happening, and that's totally okay, and everyone has a different pace in life. But for us, it was more like buying a house, having kids, stuff like that, where people were making huge jumps and they just didn't necessarily work out for us right now. Like, I've had people, like, I'm still in school going to college, so I wanted to finish before I had kids, and I know people my age that are having kids, and it's okay that I didn't want to yet. And then same with buying houses. We had looked into it and it just didn't work out yet, and
too expensive.
The market, mainly the market, is crazy. But guess what? We're 21 now. We like don't need to own a house yet. And I think it's crazy because you see all these people online like doing these big huge things and having kids super young and buying houses at 20 years old, and it's okay if you're not there. And it's okay to enjoy the simplicity of just being newlyweds by yourself in a tiny apartment, and that's perfectly fine. The second one is that finding quality time is so important. And so my love language actually is quality time, so that's like huge for me.
It's probably why she put the thing.
Probably why I put it down. But people always say that for like advice. They're like, never stop dating, and that's what they mean. So even though you're married and together all the time, it can feel like you spend no time together. And Logan might disagree because he's like, I can sit next to you and just feel like so happy. And it's not that I like don't feel happy and like we're like being together, but when we're dating, you go on fun dates and you dedicate whole days to hanging out and make sure it's like really fun. And when you live together, you're together all the time, so you don't always remember to plan time for you guys. So even though we're together all the time, it could be like me doing homework and he's in the living room, or doing chores and stuff around the house and running errands. And so that's not as fun as when we were dating and we could just go and have fun. So that's what that means. Yeah.
Quality time's good because it makes women happy. Women love quality time.
You don't like quality time?
No, I do like quality time, but it's like I could play on my phone, and like I could be like playing on my phone right now, and I'd be happy just like having her right next to me.
The next one, and this is what Logan tells me all the time in different scenarios, is that you are never gonna be 100% prepared for marriage. So if it's right, go for it.
That's just with like everything.
Yeah, that's why I said in different phases of life. But in regards of before you get married, I wanted to wait till I was done with college too to get married. But
good thing I'm a good negotiator.
Logan convinced me to get married earlier, and I'm like so glad we did, because I was just nervous. I'm like, we're so young. I don't have like a full-time job yet. Like, I'm still gonna be busy with school and all this stuff, and I just feel like there's so many more things you could be like, oh, but I'm only making this much an hour. I need to make more before I get married, or I only have this much in savings. I need to. And you're always gonna find something else that you could do to be more prepared. And so I think you just have to see if it's right and if the person's right for you, and obviously be kind of smart. Like, if you have absolutely no money and you plan on living in an apartment together and you literally can't afford to pay even like $100 in rent or anything, like if you have $0, obviously you should probably figure something out. But for the most part, no one's ever 100% ready. And Logan says this with kids too, but I'm still on the not yet.
Not until Rue's trained.
Rue? But I'm pretty sure that's Logan's life motto whenever he tries to convince me something. Okay, the next one is that it's okay to schedule time to be intimate. So we're getting a little bit personal here, but intimacy is important in marriage, and it's good in marriage when you're married. It's okay to schedule that stuff out, to find blocks of time that work, because right now, for a while, Logan and I had conflicting schedules when we just moved. He was working at nights and I would do schoolwork in the mornings. So in those situations, you just have to find time, and it doesn't kill the romance. It can still be cute, but intimacy is important, so it's okay to schedule it. The next one is that communication really is the most important thing in marriage and relationships. Do you agree?
Yeah, so I don't fight. Like, something like may come up and stuff, and like you might be mad about it, but it's easier to discuss and just be happier with each other than it is, because like you have to sleep next to them. Like, why would you want to go sleep on the couch? Like,
yeah,
it's just easier to discuss things and then come to an understanding than it is to fight. So
yeah, so Logan and I learned how to communicate with each other really early on, I would say, to the point where, I mean, we still have our moments. We still have moments where we get frustrated with each other and annoyed, but I'd say most of the time it gets settled really easily, and that might be due to Logan a lot, because Logan is really good on just dropping anything and saying that. But I don't think there's ever really been a time where we've both yelled at each other full on. I mean, there's been moments where they've gotten more heated, but I think it's important to take yourself out of what you're mad at and realize that your marriage is more important than this fight. And so just find ways to resolve it and communicate. And that also goes in line with, sometimes I'll feel something or I'll want something and I just expect Logan to know what I want from him. And I'm trying to learn that it's okay to be like, Logan, you're on your phone right now, but I really wanted you to like cuddle me before we fell asleep, and then you can go on your phone, or stuff like that, because they can't read your mind. So that's why you just, if you communicate what you want and your needs right off the bat, then it will be better perceived and your marriage will be a lot happier.
yeah, like she'll always be like, can you help me clean? And I'm like, what do you want me to clean? And she's like, just help me clean. And
I was like, look around and see what needs to be cleaned. But it's so much easier if I'm like, this needs to be clean, can you do it? Then the message is more direct. But
because when guys see like stuff is clean all the time, when to women it's not clean.
yeah,
different eyesights.
And guys are not mind readers, and they're not that smart. They don't pick up on a lot of things, so just tell them. Okay, the next one is that understanding each other's love language is huge. I think we can often be thinking we're showing the right amount of love to someone, and it's just not in the way that they feel like they need love. Like, mine is quality time, like I mentioned before, and so Logan can be like telling me how pretty I am and giving me lots of hugs and just lots of stuff, like acts of service, which that's my second one. We could be doing all that, but if we don't go on dates and stuff like that, I'll be like, are you mad at me? Like, do you love me? And he's like, what? I've been doing this, 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 and this. And I was like, no, you don't want to hang out with me. And he's like, what? So just understanding that that's how they need to be loved is important. The next one is, it's not you versus them, it's you guys versus the problem. And so this just is, a lot of people get in defense modes when in arguments and start saying like, I'm right, you're wrong. And I think it's important to understand that, okay, let's see what the issue is and let's see how us as a couple can come around this problem. Even if it is one of their problems or something that they're only upset with, it's still you guys both finding a solution together for it.
It's also easy just to say sorry and like not do it again. Like,
yeah,
if you're doing something that they don't like try and fix it. Like, don't give them a reason to be mad at you. Like, don't give them a reason to want to fight. You got to,
it like gives some like give or take. Like, you have to sacrifice and admit when you're wrong and just say sorry and drop it and stuff like that. But with the you versus the problem, if you tackle things together as a team and realize that you guys are one and you need to stick together, because your marriage, like your spouse is the one person that's gonna have your back for like the rest of your life. And so you guys need to tackle things together and not against each other. Okay, kind of going into that, the next thing that I wish I would have known is that marriage means you are one. And like, this means everything. Finances, your household chores, cars, insurances, like everything basically gets blended together. What's mine is yours. And so I think it's important to figure out where you lie on all that, especially with finances, and to find a plan of what will work for both of you, because there can be a lot of problems when it comes to, no, this is my money and this is your money, and why do you have this much debt and I had none, or you know, like all this stuff. And I think talking about that before you get married is very important. We, I think, did a pretty good job at being open with that. And then one way we handle money now as a married couple is we get something called fun money. And right now it's just $50 a month. And that's where we get like clothes, shoes, anything, any items we want. I get some YouTube stuff with it, just a bunch of random stuff, and that's it. We have a bunch of different accounts listed in the bank, and we put it into our fun monies account, and then you can just use our card and then transfer it over as you spend it. And then that way we have some freedom with our money, but then we're also in agreement with how much each person is allowed to spend. And right now we're saving for a lot of things, so that's why the amount's lower, but as we earn more money and stuff, that amount could possibly move up and be more.
Yeah, the other reason why that's good is, like, let's say you like to buy things that your spouse doesn't think are good purchasing ideas. That way you can buy it and then they can't get mad at you because it was like your own money, instead of like, we can't buy groceries now because you bought this.
Yeah, and it really stops a lot of fighting, because we wanted our money to be our money together, and so some people do separate accounts and stop fighting that way, but we wanted to come together as one and be one. And so that fun money is like, I can buy the most ridiculous thing ever, and Logan can't get mad at me for it. Really, that applies to Logan because he buys more weird stuff, but that money is yours, and that's what you can spend it on whatever you want, and then there's no argument. The things Logan buys, he would probably never be able to convince me to buy with our money if we didn't have this rule. So I highly recommend that, and it's really helped us out for sure. Okay, the next one is that spending time with family is hard. And so when you get married, you become your own family, and you have to find the balance between you guys and the time you spend together, both of your families, and then both of your extended families. I feel like I didn't realize how difficult it was gonna be, or how much I would be invited or wanted to go to certain things, and then realize that easily our time is being taken away from each other. Because when we moved down here, the first week we went to our parents' house every single day of the week. And I think finding a good balance is, of course we want to hang out with our families and we love hanging out with them, but it's hard to make sure you have a equal amount of time, just you two, and growing your own family and creating memories together, and then both of your families, and then if you can, extended families. I think it's been a lot harder than I thought, trying to hang out with all like grandparents and stuff, and we've done a good job and we've been able to go to lots of things, but the coordination is definitely challenging, where sometimes all families have things on certain days and you kind of have to pick out of which ones you're gonna go to. So okay, the very last thing I wish I would have known before getting married at 19 is that every single relationship and marriage is different. I had so many people tell me the first year of marriage is so hard, and it's gonna be so hard to learn how to live together, and just all these people. And I still have people to this day ask me, was it hard learning how to live together and do all this stuff? To be honest, our first year of marriage was really easy. But we had been dating for 3 years before that, and I know some people that I had talked to for that had been dating less time. So I don't know if it's the fact that we really got to see each other's true colors before getting married, or the fact that we had learned how to communicate better before getting married, or what. I'm not exactly sure, but I do know that the only real challenging part of our first year of marriage was Rue.
Not bad.
So obviously Rue has separation anxiety and stuff like that, she's doing a lot better. But when we get asked a question about what's been hard and I reflect back on our year of marriage, I mean, obviously you still have things that make you upset with one another and you get annoyed if they don't pick up a certain thing, but nothing too out of the ordinary. And it literally feels like it's better, but it feels relatively the same to when we were dating, except we get to have a sleepover every single day and it's a party. That's how I feel. But every relationship is different. Logan and I went through a more challenging patch when we were first dating towards the end of our senior year of high school, and then went up. And so I think you just have to understand that everyone's different, and if anyone gives you advice, to take it with a grain of salt, because some things might work for you and others won't. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Do you think our first year of marriage was hard?
Yes. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What was the most challenging part? Rue.
But that was my bad. I wanted a dog.
Well, and we have done great with Rue. Rue is such a smart dog. She's awesome. But she just came with a lot of problems at first. And the first couple of months of having her was just really bad. And I would get frustrated and cry a lot. But that wasn't necessarily
my fault.
Yeah, like...
Even though in the end it was, because I was the one who convinced her to get rid of it.
Yeah. Take this advice with a grain of salt, because obviously your relationship is different. People have challenges over different things, and maybe you won't get someone as nice as Logan, who ends arguments really easily and just says sorry and like doesn't want to fight. And like, not that we get in huge arguments, but I'll be upset about something and he's like, okay, my feelings aren't as important, I'm just gonna try to make you feel better. And so maybe I just really lucked out, and that's why our first year of marriage was so great. But I think those are the top 10 things that I wish I would have known or really thought about before getting married at 19. We just finished celebrating our first wedding anniversary last month. And so obviously we're not pros at marriage, but that's just what we wish we would have known.
Thank you guys for joining us once again. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us on TikTok and Instagram. We'll have those down in the description below. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.